Okay. So this is where you are now. So for the month of March, we have here the World and the Ace of Cups. So these are really amazing cards. The Ace of Cups is about new beginnings when it comes to your emotional state. And this is usually like brand new love or feeling that sense of emotional satisfaction. Okay. The World is about publishing. It's about getting recognition. It's about like creative projects as well being brought forth into the world. So for many of you, I feel especially um, actors, artists, singers, or even people who are in the fine arts, performing arts. I feel like you're getting a lot of recognition for the work that you bring forth, okay? Especially in the creative field. Especially like people landing gigs like in television, landing gigs as like I'm hearing like a news anchor. Okay, so if you're in communication in radio or even like a TV personality, I feel like you're landing your role. You're landing a really good gig, and you're landing something that will bring you a lot of visibility. So I don't know if the money is there, but I definitely feel like the visibility is there. You're going to be in the limelight, and I feel that it's going to open a lot of new avenues for you, like new contacts, new ways to do things. So for example, if you're a voice actor, you might venture into like theater, musical, or even, TV acting. Okay. If you've been working behind the scenes as a voice actor or even as an animator, you're going to go to those, what are those like? They're similar to like Comic-Con symposium or even panel discussions, and you're going to be in the limelight. So I feel like you're coming out behind the scenes and moving into the limelight. So people are going to recognize your face. They're going to recognize your name. And there's a lot of like visibility associated with you for the month of March. Once again, with public image, it comes with a lot of scrutiny, of course. People can't always be happy with what you have to say, but just because there's so much visibility, you want to be a little bit careful, especially, the first 2 weeks of the month, to be careful with with the messages that you're trying to convey. Make sure you take the time to over-explain and to thoroughly explain yourself so that things don't get misconstrued, okay? And then things don't get taken out of context. So make sure you over-explain. Okay. And then just be mindful about what you say and how you portray yourself in a public setting, because I feel like all eyes are on you and there's a lot of visibility. And whenever I see a lot of visibility, I always think of, it being a double-edged sword, because it can also come with a lot of public scrutiny. Okay. What I'm also feeling as well is, I mentioned before, some of you have options and choices, and you're trying to narrow down this option. And I do feel with the Ace of Cups, this is like a great love. Okay, this is like a relationship that is. I feel like it's kind of like falling in love with a person. So I feel for many of you, there's somebody here and they're definitely attached to this cluster right here. So the way this person is, we have the World, and the World usually indicates someone who's very well traveled. Okay, someone who's been around the globe, who might be a globetrotter, and somebody who's very aware when it comes to like current events, history, international affairs, somebody who like knows what's going on with the world, someone who's not just wrapped up in themselves and their street, their city, their block, their family. They're very worldly. They understand what's going on out there in the world. They have traveled, they have dealt with people from foreign backgrounds. And so it's somebody that has like a myriad of stories, anecdotes, and information to share. So this is somebody who's actually very up your alley, because I feel like communication flows really well between the two of you, and I feel like you spark off each other in a really good way. They are very inspiring to be with. So I feel like you've got somebody in your corner here who's a very good match for you. Okay. What I'm feeling is I feel like one person is like really magical and then the other person is a little bit intimidated. And I feel like the person who's intimidated is very shy. And so in order to mask their shyness, they're putting on kind of like a tough air. And rather than at I guess like acting like they're very impressed, like, wow, you did that, or you went there, or you live there, or you speak that language. One person is like playing it off like they're not impressed. They're going to ask follow-up questions, but they're playing it off like they're not impressed. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody who might be a little bit standoffish, or who might like pretend like they're not interested, or who might be intimidated. And in the process of being intimidated, they feel a little bit uncomfortable, and so they kind of toughen up, and then they act a little bit like aloof, or in order to mask their shyness, they put on like a tough facade. Okay, so don't let that fool you. I feel like this person is also very much interested. It's just the way that they hide or mask their emotion, because they do want to be in control. And I feel the person might be this character here, the Emperor. This is someone who's very serious. I just get a very, very serious vibe with this person. They could be male or female. It doesn't even matter. It's like a hard, they've got a hard exterior, like a hard shell. They're all about business. They're all about responsibility. They're all about, they're just very serious minded. And with this world energy, they could also be very well traveled. And I usually think of this as like somebody who's like outside of your type. Okay, it's somebody that you never would have found attractive in the past, but for whatever reason, they're out of the norm. They're out of the norm in terms of who you date, or who you find attractive, who you would find attractive, or the type that you normally go for. So I feel like there's somebody here that is really catching your attention. And I also feel like there's an escalation, like taking a relationship to the next level. And then I also feel like you might be narrowing down your options, or you are trying to, put someone through some tests, and you're realizing that the two of you work really well together, or as a unit, the two of you have the same goals, have the same ideals, even though you might be from very different walks of life. Even though personality-wise, you're very different, but the two of you work together really well as a unit. So this is the Chariot card. And the Chariot card, you have these two fish going in different directions, and it requires the will of God in order to move them in the right direction, so that they're not working at cross purposes with each other, so that they can, inch along or move along in the same direction. So I feel like there's something here where the two of you might just be as stubborn, where the two of you might butt heads like ideologically, but for whatever reason, you find that the two of you ultimately work well together, and that I guess regardless of the differences, you have the same ideologies to a certain extent, and you realize that you can move forward together. Okay. And then I also feel like there's something here about what I'm seeing is like, I have two people here and they didn't understand each other before. One person was too firm, and then the other person was too wishy-washy. One person was too like serious, and then the other person was too non-committal. And so there might have been like a repulsion, but for whatever reason, you're starting to see eye to eye. You're starting to admire certain qualities about each other, and you're starting to understand each other a little bit more, which allows this to happen, which allows the two of you to really, understand each other and like each other, and for a relationship to form. Okay. So I'm looking at these four cards independently. So some of you are dealing with this, and I feel like by the end of the month, we have a few more things here. I feel like for many of you, we have some really good news that are coming through, and I'm hearing like really good news, but also very unexpected from a very unexpected source. Okay. I do feel there's like blast from the past, like an ex or somebody who, just disappear from your life, and all of a sudden there is comeback. So I feel like when this person comes in, there is potentially, we have Page of Cups here, and I usually think of this as like an apology. Um, Somebody trying to reach out in a very shy way. They don't know how to break the ice. They don't know how to approach you. They don't know what to say. They're at a loss for words, and it's like it's somebody who's really shy, and they're very fearful of rejection. So when they make when they want to reach out and communicate, they want to make sure that they choose their words very carefully so that you will respond, because turning them down or not responding, it would really hurt them. So this is somebody who has a very fragile ego. And I feel like in their shyness, they're coming in either with an apology or even to reach out. And then eventually they're trying to test the water to see how you feel before they can, offer the apology. I have the Judgment card, and I feel like this is going to happen very quickly, very swiftly. And when this person comes in, I feel like you're going to be at a loss for words as to what to say. It's going to be very unexpected because, once again, the Judgment card is contact, communication. But the way that it happens, it's very unexpected. So I do have this coming through, especially the latter part of March. It could be like around March 15th all the way until like the 22nd. That's what I'm feeling strongly. But I do sense here, it's a situation that you might have closed the cycle on already. Like in your mind, in your heart, you might have already physically just released and let go of. And so when this communication comes in, it is very unexpected, and you might not know what to do with this information. I also feel for many of you, you might have moved on with someone else, and they might energetically feel that you've moved on. And then they're trying to reach out for communication just to kind of like pull you back. I don't feel it's malicious, or I don't feel like it's intentional to kind of like, cause a rift between you and your new person. I just feel like energetically, there might have been things that needed to be cleared up between the two of you, or there might have been like, longing from their end to kind of apologize or something like that. And so when they feel that energetically you've pulled away because you have someone new, or you are just pulling away from them, I feel like they're reaching out to try to reconnect, to try to open up that channel of communication. Okay. Once again, I'm getting that it's sort of like, things have to get bad in order for this person to realize that they needed to make amends. They needed to reach out. So it's sort of like, that doorway will open when there's pressure exerted. Okay. So in that way, I feel like, the pressure, the water at you, literally at your doorstep or at their doorstep, those things need to happen. The circumstances need to be ideal for them. Like the pressure needs to be there for them to budge, for them to make a move, for them to, move a situation along. Okay. So you might have been waiting for communication from this person for quite some time, but the pressure needed to be exerted from their end, or needed to be exerted on them in order for them to see that they needed to be the one to make the move. All right. And at the very end, we have some really good, amazing cards. We have here the Six of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. Career-wise, this is a very good indicator that there's like, for those who are looking for jobs, for gigs, for projects, even for financiers, if you have like a project and you're looking for somebody to fund the project, or if you have like an idea and you need a sponsor, these are cards that indicate there's backers, supporters, people working behind the scenes in order to give you either the monetary support or even just the verbal support, or even just the emotional support. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of like boosting up happening behind the scenes. The Six of Wands is about a victory. This is pretty much, getting the recognition, getting the accolades, having that spotlight shining on you where you're getting a lot of attention. And the Page of Pentacles, for those of you, for example, who are looking for work, I feel like there's a job offer coming through. And with the Page of Pentacles, it's not like a magnificent, life changing and type of a job where there's a lot of money involved. I feel like this is kind of like, let's say, for example, if you're working on a contract basis, right? Somebody might tell you, hey, I have a project. You can work on it for 3 months. I'll pay you like 50% up front and 50% at the end of the project. So it's sort of like a retainer fee or something that is, there's money involved. It's not a huge sum of money, but it's a moderately good amount. Okay. And then I also feel training opportunities, opportunities to travel in order to train, opportunities for even giving out training sessions to people, or being the one to facilitate some type of training. Okay, so you have some really, really good things here that indicate you will be in the spotlight, and there will be financial, windfall, or even jobs, or even short-term gigs, or even like whatever it is that relates to work and career and projects and things that you want to undertake. You have a lot of blessings coming in that regard.